This video is going to go over cloud training. So you should receive an email for your cloud invite, and that's where you'll set up those security questions, answers, and password. Once you got that all set up, you'll go to cloud.rezstream.com on any device, and you'll use your email address and that password that you set up. Once you're logged into your cloud system, it's going to take you to your dashboard screen. On the dashboard screen, we'll start in the top right. You'll notice your name or whatever you set up for your name in the top right is logged in. If you click on that name, this profile button, edit profile, you can go and change your birthday, first name, last name, the email address that's set up. You can go and edit that. I could change the password from here, and then I can also change those security questions and answers from here. In that top section, whatever's checked is your property. So in my demo here, I have multiple properties, but I'm working with this property that's checked. In the bottom section, this lock session switch user, that's if you're going to step away from the desk. You don't want anyone messing with your work that you're going to come back to. Just lock the session. When you get back, you'll just log back in and continue your day and continue your work. This sign out, that'll take you to that original sign on screen. So this is like the end of day, I'm going to sign out, and another user can go in there and sign in. At the top here, this question mark with the drop down, search the knowledge base. You click on that, that'll bring up our knowledge base links. This has videos and articles of just things that might come up. So maybe I'm working on adding rates for next year. We either have a video or an article on that, and it'll just kind of walk you step by step. Also in that question mark is contact support. This will just generate an email that's sent to support@rezstream.com. It creates a ticket in our system, and we'll reply to that email as soon as we can. Submit your idea and vote at the bottom here. This brings up another link. This is designed, let's say there's a feature in the cloud today that we don't have that you'd really like to see. You can go in here and maybe another user that's using the cloud already submitted that idea, so you can just simply vote on it. Or if you want to create a new idea, just type in your new idea here, and then other users that use the cloud can come in here and vote on it. Our developers will kind of look at what's the top votes, and that's what they'll try to push out in an update if they can. Next to the question mark is our bell here. So if any updates or reservations come in, you'll notice that that bell will have a number and it's going off. That's just informing you that there's an update. View latest news and updates. These are all the new features that we have, kind of like the newest will be at the top and the older ones will be towards the bottom. But you can just click on this and view what that new feature is. It's kind of like a knowledge base article, so it'll go over that new feature and exactly what it does. Next to the new feature is cloud updates. So these are developer notes as far as what bugs they've fixed, any new features that they've added, and you can click on there and read their notes. And then at the top is webinars. So anytime we have a webinar, you can click on here. This will be the topic of the webinar, and you can watch that webinar after the fact. You'll notice down here that there is a ton of webinars that we have, and if you click on this, it'll just open up a link and you can view all those webinars. Let's go back. So back on my dashboard screen here, the shared notes section. This is just a note section to pass around to the staff. You just click in here, and then you can just start typing in this box. To save, you can either click your tab key, that'll save, or you notice that green check mark, this will also save down there. Task feature, this is more of assigning a task to a user. So if I click on the blue plus button, and whatever the task is, just type that in at the top, and then any notes that you have for that task. You could select a due date. We'll just choose today. And then we have a priority level. We have high, medium, and low. So how important is this task? And then you can assign this to a user. In the drop down, it's going to show you all your users that you have set up for your system. Or you can just assign it to everyone. And then once you're done, just click save. And then it'll post that task in that section there. If this was assigned to a user or anyone really, and they go and they finish the task, they can click on it, and they could just click there and complete it, and you'll see when that was completed. Below that section is recent reservations. So this is just going to show you a list of reservations that are upcoming. So anyone that's already came and gone, they're not going to be in this list. This will just be upcoming reservations. In this box where it says show, so for this example, we're showing any reservations from the booking engine. OTA, this is your booking.com, Expedia, MyAllocator setup, Google Hotels, that would be OTA. Cancellations, so anytime they cancel, they'll also be in this list. And then PMS stands for Property Management System. So these are reservations that I've created at the property. And they'll just be listed here. You might have multiple pages, and it'll just go in order as far as the newest reservation that I created will be towards the top. Whereas if I have multiple pages at my property, they'll be towards the bottom or on other pages. Below that is recent gift certificates. So this is going to show gift certificates that have not been used, that still have a value, and are not expired. And it'll again go in order as far as when they were created. It'll be towards the top. So this one was created most recently, and the older ones will be towards the bottom when they were created. And again, we're showing booking engines. So if I have a gift certificate link on my booking engine and they create that gift certificate online, it'll download here, as well as PMS, which is Property Management System, means I created the gift certificate from this section. To create a gift certificate, I would just click on the gift certificate tab. This has a list of all my gift certificates. And to create a new one, I would just click on the little blue plus button in the top right here, and I can add that gift certificate for the guest. Oops. So select the name here. It'll automatically populate a gift certificate number. You can always change that if you want. Recipient, are you giving this to someone? You can choose the recipient, and then just select the sale price. And then as long as the face value is the same, it'll populate that there. This gift certificate does have an expiration date, so it automatically populated that there. Otherwise, you can change that date or just remove it completely. Any restrictions or notes that you want to add, you would just add those here. And then once I'm finished, I just click Save. It'll bring you to this gift certificate invoice. This is where I would add a payment for the gift certificate. We're just going to leave this one alone right now, but that's where I would make my payment. Clicking back on gift certificate, you'll notice that it's in the top section. All these warnings are just warnings that, hey, we haven't collected a payment yet. So that's why you see those warnings there. If you want to print a gift certificate letter, you need to do it from this gift certificate tab. So I would go into the gift certificate, then select my letter icon up here, and then next I can search my gift certificate letters. So let's just do this one for example. It'll drop down at the bottom, but this is where you get all your gift certificate notes. So if you're like, hey, I'm not able to print my gift certificate, it's not coming up with the correct information, it's probably because you're not on the gift certificate tab. And then you'll notice it down here, it added that gift certificate towards the top because that's the most recent thing I've done. So that's the gift certificate tab. On the left hand side here, this will have reservations going on for the day that you're logged in. So today's date will be up here. You can always click on there and change that date. Let's change it to when I have something going on. So looks like 6:30. So I changed the date to 6:30, and you'll notice that I have an arrival for that date. So whatever date I select in there, it's going to tell you what's going on for that date. So any arrivals will be in the arrival section, stayovers will be in the stayover section, departures, no-shows, and if I mark rooms out of service, they'll be in here with the reasoning of why they're out of service. In the top here, this paper icon, this will let you print letters in bulk. So right now I just have the one arrival, but let's say I had multiple arrivals, multiple stayovers, and departures. It'll let me in this drop down, it'll show you all those options to print in bulk. Right now I'll just choose the one arrival, and then you select a letter at the top. So let's just do I have a lot of letters in here, but we'll just select a letter. And then once you select your letter, just click generate. And then it'll just display the letter down below. Now, if I had multiple guests that were arriving today, there'd be multiple letters in this list. And then I can click print, and it'll print out those multiple letters, or in this case, just the one. Let's go back. Below the recent reservations here is going to be our key items. So you can mark any point of sale item as a key item and it'll be listed in this section. So if I need to keep track of every time I sell this hoodie or whatever for my gift shop, I can select that as a key item, and then with my date range here, I can see when that hoodie is going to be sold, so I make sure I have enough. Below key items is our email delivery history. So this is every time I send an email, it'll post it in there as far as this is the sent emails. And then if I had any issues sending emails, maybe the guest gave me the incorrect email address or I typed it in wrong, those will be in the failure section. At the top of each widget, you'll notice a print icon. That'll just print out that widget. So this will print out the reservations for whatever date I have, key items, we have the notes, tasks, recent reservations, and then gift certificates. So that'll just print those out. In the top right, we have a settings icon. This is your dashboard settings. What you can do here is you can hide widgets just by clicking on the hide button. So maybe I don't sell any POS items and I don't need my key items. I could just hide that and it won't display on my dashboard. Or you can click and drag and move things around. So maybe I would prefer my notes to be at the bottom section. Just click and drag and move these wherever you'd like. If you do make any changes, just make sure and save at the top. We'll get back to the dashboard when we add a reservation here, but we're going to jump to our occupancy map on the left-hand side. So on the occupancy map, you'll notice that your units are listed down the left-hand side here. If I just hover over the unit, it'll give me the unit name, the max capacity, what property that unit belongs to, the rate plan it's pulling, and if you have a description for that unit, it'll display that there. And then from left to right here, it has a date range with my rates inside the date range. These arrows here, if you hover over them, it'll tell you what it's going to do, but this will move me back a week. This will move me back a couple days. Same thing going forward, move me forward a week, move me forward a couple days. I can always select whatever date I want just by clicking on the calendar icon and picking a date. Or I could just simply type in a date that I want. To get back to today's date, you just click on this tack here in the middle, and that'll jump me back to today. You'll notice within my rates that Friday and Saturday are grayed out. That's just indicating that they're weekends. And anytime next to the rate you see a number, that's a minimum night stay requirement. So for this one, it's $350 a night with a 2-night minimum. That's what you see there. Going across the top is our wait list. The wait list is designed to, let's say today on the 26th here, I was completely sold out and someone's like, hey, if anything becomes available, will you please let me know? Just open up your wait list here, and then it adds a little plus next to each day, and you just click on the plus, and from that plus it'll open up the wait list section, and from this section I can select a guest. We'll just click continue. And then when do they want to come and go, kind of their arrival and departure stay, and then any notes you want to add for the guests, and then just click save. If you happen to cancel a reservation for their arrival date, this page will pop up and just noting that, hey, you have someone on your wait list, and then you can contact the guest via email or phone number. Let's go back. And then you'll also notice on my wait list, it'll add a little number there. So that just indicates how many people are on the wait list for that day. And the number will just kind of take over the little plus button there. And you can keep that open as long as you want, or close it and open it. The number's still going to stay. So we'll close that. Next to our wait list is our filter. So on the left-hand side, we are displaying all of our units. So if I have to scroll down to see all my units there. This filter will I could filter out either by units, by rate plans. If you have multiple properties set up, you could do it by property or by date range. So maybe they call you, they're like, hey, these are my arrival departure dates. Plug those in the dates, and it'll show you what rooms are available for that time frame. You can also easily filter just by clicking on the day. So if I just click on the day here from the calendar, If I had any rooms that were booked, it would remove them from this list and only show me rooms that are available for that day. So another quick way to filter. If I choose units, it'll just let you select the unit, and it's just going to display that unit that you selected. Same thing with rates and properties. Next to our filter icon is our print occupancy map. Select your start date, number of days you'd like to go out, and then just click preview. It'll display your occupancy map down below, and then to print, just print that in the top right here. Just like our dashboard, we had a setting in the top right. This is where our settings at for our occupancy map. We'll start at the bottom with display settings. So we talked about Friday and Saturday being grayed out, just indicating that they're weekends. That's because they're checked in this top setting. So you can uncheck them. Maybe I don't have any weekends. I don't want to see anything grayed out. Or maybe Sunday is also a weekend, so I can gray that one out as well. The show clean and dirty, that'll add a little green check on the left-hand side next to each unit, just indicating that it's clean. And then if the unit is dirty, it'll add a red circle just indicating that it's dirty. This book by type, so if you want to display by unit types, let's say I display my booking engine and my property by unit types, check the book by types and it'll just show your unit types. So let's say I have a king room, and within the king room it'll show how many you have available. So if I had three king rooms available for today, it'll have a number 3 next to that. And when you click and drag, it'll just put them in one of those by type or king rooms for this example. This the cell width and height, this is how you control the size of your occupancy map. You can either use your mouse or your arrow key to make that smaller or larger. And then down below, what would you like to show on your occupancy map? So right now we're showing the phone number, which it'll kind of look like this here. Number of nights would look like this here, where it says 2 nights. And then the guest count. So in this example, we have A2, C2, D2. So A2 would be 2 adults, 2 children, and then we have a dog as a guest type, so 2 dogs. This custom fields, if you have any custom fields set up in your configuration custom fields, you could show those on here as well. So we have one called door code and second email and time of arrival. So if I just check that, it'll show those custom fields on the occupancy map as well. If we go back, reservation colors. So these are the reservation colors. So when the guest is checked in, it's going to display this greenish color. Checked out is this lighter green color. Any future reservation, it'll be purple. A no-show is going to come up red. Cancellation is going to be orange. As far as the payment types, it's going to be green on our occupancy map if it's fully paid. Yellow if they partial paid, maybe deposit, and red, no payment at all. When I click and drag to make that reservation, it's going to be this bluish color. And if I mark any room out of service, it's going to be this grayish color. I could change any of these colors just by clicking on the teardrop here and then just select a new color for that. So I want that to be that now. As far as our payment status, we're showing that, or you can show in-room status. And then we do have custom colors. So this is, let's say I had a group reservation and I wanted to keep track of them with the custom color. This is where you can utilize that tool. Again, if you make any changes, just save in the top. Let's go back to that. Underneath reservation colors is unit colors. So you noticed on the left-hand side of my occupancy map, I have my colors, or I have my units set up with colors, some of them. I could just set that up here. So maybe I want my ocean front to also have a color. Just select that here and then just save. What it's going to do is you'll notice it'll put that color on the left-hand side. Also, we talked about the clean and dirty. With the housekeeping, that's where you'll see these. So these rooms are considered clean with the green check, and these rooms with the red circle are considered dirty. If you do utilize that tool, you'll have this icon up here, and you could do the same thing from here. So whatever's checked, I can uncheck it to make it clean, keep it dirty, mark them all clean or mark them all dirty. Again, any changes I would save in the top. Next to our settings button is our quick rate editor. So the quick rate editor, this will let you adjust rates on the fly. So this isn't a tool where I'm going to go and set up my rates for next year. I'm not going to set up all my seasons here. But let's say, for example, on this weekend here, I don't want a 2-night minimum anymore for whatever reason. So I click on my $sign, my quick rate editor, and then I would just click and drag for these 2 nights. And I'm going to override my minimum stay, and we'll just override it to 1 night. And then I'm going to save rate adjustments. So what that did is it just removed the minimum night stay just for those 2 nights. So it's just making little changes here and there. You could do the same thing with rates. So maybe I want to adjust my rates here for this retreat for these 2 nights. So I click and drag the 2 nights that I want. And then on this side here, I can override the rate to whatever value I want. I can adjust by a percentage, so I can raise that 20% or lower it 20%. If you want to lower anything, just put a negative in front of it and it'll lower that. And then same thing with the fixed amount. So I can raise it $10 or lower it $10. So this is the quick rate editor just to make quick rates on the fly, quick changes. Let's go back. So now from my occupancy map, I'm going to go ahead and mark a room out of service. So to mark rooms out of service, you're just going to click and drag the days and unit that it needs to be marked out of service. So we'll use our modern spa here for these 3 nights. So I clicked and dragged those 3 nights, and then you'll notice it opens up this quote tab on the right. I would just click on the out of service tab. By default, it's going to put in repairs there for the reason, but you can always change that reason here. And then you can also add notes. Once you're finished updating all those, just click mark out of service, and it'll mark that room out of service. In our settings, we have the mark out of service set up as gray, so that's why we notice gray. And you'll notice it add a little wrench icon to the bottom right. To get that room back in service, I simply just click on the room and then click the red return to service. Now it's available to book again. So to create a reservation, we're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to click and drag on the room I want and the nights. So I'll click and drag on this room for those 3 nights. And then it brings up on our quote section. In the quote section, the available rates, these are any rates you have set up in your rate plans. And you could select those here. So those are all my available rates, and it'll just update the rate in the lower section there, as you notice. Packages, if you have any packages available, just click on this drop down and you can select that package and it'll just add it to your reservation there. Let's remove that by clicking on the red X. This is the guest counts, so I can change my number of adults, children, or I have dog as a guest type, so I can add a dog there. Just simply click on the arrows to update the number, or you can simply just start typing update quote. If, let's say, you had in your rate setup that additional guests add this much, it would have changed the rate there. Discounts, this discount tab here. We have 2 types of discounts. We have a percentage, and it's going to give you a percentage off this total amount. Or we have a fixed amount, and this is going to apply to each night. So if I do 10%, it's going to take 10% off this $336 and click recalculate for taxes. And there's their new rate, saving $30. Let's reset that. And then if I do $10, it's going to take $10 off each night. So now change that to the 90, recalculate. That's their saving and their total. I'll reset that. Next to discounts is exemptions. So this is to remove a tax. If you need to remove all the taxes, just click exempt all. It'll make those all 0. Maybe you just need to remove one of the taxes that you have set up. So your property has multiple taxes and you just need to remove one. In the drop down, it'll show you all your taxes that are available and just select the one that you need to remove. Down below in blue, if I click on this rate, this will override all my nights. So this is just me manually entering a rate. So I click on rate, and then maybe I want each night to be 80. Click on the green check to save that, and then recalculate to get my new taxes, and it'll put in that rate. If you just want to change one of the nights, so maybe just this first night is discounted, I can click on that night and then just update the rate there. Click on my green check, recalculate for taxes, and this is their new rate. Once everything looks good in this section, just click this Book Now button. From the Book Now button, it'll take you where you can search for the guest or create a new guest if they have not been entered in your property yet. So we'll just use this guest right here. From this is the guest people page. From this page is the contact information on the left-hand side here. If you click on the edit button, you can go in there and maybe I need to update their address, maybe their phone number is different, or email address. I can go and make all my changes in this section. When I'm done, I would just click save at the top. Going down on this left-hand side. So these are the notes that we have for the guest on their people page. These notes will always follow the guest. And we have source of contact. In the source of contact, there will be a drop down, and this is whatever you have set up in your configuration settings. Second email and time of arrival, these are those custom fields that we can set up. And then important dates. If you click on add, maybe you keep track of birthdays, anniversaries, or when they first stayed with you. Below that, we have public notes and private notes. Public notes, we do have a letter code for, so we could add that to a letter if you'd like. And then also in the housekeeping report, we can display the public notes if you would like. Whereas the private notes are just in this section, and it's only for users that have cloud access would be able to view your private notes. And these private notes and public notes are for the person, so it's always going to follow the guest. On the right-hand side, these are all the reservations that the guests have with us. This number right here is total reservations, so this guest has 34. Total number of nights that they stayed with you, so this one's 104 nights. And then any cancellations, so we have 6 cancellations for this guest. And they'll all display kind of their most recent, till the oldest one will be on the last page there. Point of sale invoices, this is if they just purchased a point of sale item. Or in this case, it might be gift certificates. So let's say you sell a gift shop and they just purchase a hoodie or whatever you sell from that gift shop and it's not part of their reservation. That would be in the point of sale invoices section. And then below that is credit cards. This will have a list of all the credit cards that the guests have used. If you are not set up with Shift4, you'll notice this eyeball. That's where you can go and view the guest credit card. If you are set up with Shift4, you just won't have that eyeball, but you will have delete card. Contact log, this is any time I send the guest an email or print them out a letter, it'll store that in here, and it'll be kind of in most recent will be towards the top, whereas the oldest one will be on multiple pages or towards the bottom. If you click on that email, there's a little preview button. I click on that, and this will show me exactly what I either emailed the guest or printed it out, print them out for them. And in the top right, I can either resend them that email, or I can, maybe they need a hard copy, so I can print that for them. Once everything looks good on this page, you would just click continue in the top right. This next step is asking, are you going to get the guest credit card number now? If so, I would confirm with credit card. Maybe a credit card is something I get upon arrival, so I don't need to get their credit card right now. And if that was the case, I would book without confirmation. We're going to go ahead and confirm with credit card. So this guest has stayed with us in the past, so it has a list of all of their credit cards that they have used that we noticed on that last page. So if they're going to continue to use one of those credit cards, you would just select it here. We're going to click on Add New Card. Gives you 2 options. So card present, that means the guest is right in front of me and I can either swipe or insert their card with the chip reader. That would be card present. Or maybe this is a reservation over the phone, so the card isn't present. I can click card not present. So card not present, this is when I would just simply enter the guest credit card in the top section. Expiration date. For the security code, you do not need the security code to save the credit card. This is both if you're processing with Shift4 or not processing with Shift4. You don't need that security code to save it. You'll notice to the right, no security code. You can select that and choose from the options. Same thing with an address. You don't need an address to save the credit card or process the card, both with Shift4 or not. It'll let you save that and process. We did enter the guest address in the previous steps, so there's a drop down, and I could just paste that information in there, and it'll add the guest name and address. Once you're done, just click Save. And that's it. That's creating a reservation and adding a guest credit card. Once you're done, it'll take you to the guest reservation page. From this reservation page in the top right, you'll notice this gray icon with the 3 dots there. I click on that. Audit History. This will have everything that's done to the reservation and by whatever user was logged in. So right now I'm logged in to our cloud here, so it looks like I did everything for this reservation. But if I had another employee, let's say they came in and took a payment, it'll have their information, their name, when they took that payment. Also in that gray icon, when we're completely done here, we'll cancel this reservation, and we could do it from here where we cancel. Next to that is our paper icon. This is to send an email or print out a letter for the guest. Just click on the paper icon. Select your letter at the top. If you have a lot of letters, you can just start typing in there. Just pick one. It automatically populates the guest email as long as we enter that in the guest people page. Otherwise, you can click in here and add an email address. You can add a CC if you'd like. It'll put in the subject that we have set up for that letter in our letter design, but you can change that here if need be. And down below, it's going to display the letter that we have set up in our letter design, and you can always click and add text here if you'd like. Once you're done in the top right, as long as there's an email address up in this section, you'll have the option to email, and you always have the option to print. So we'll just click email, and it'll email the guest that letter. On the right hand side here, these notes. So again, we have our source of contact. If you click on that, there'll be a drop down of all your sources there. Reasons, same thing. And then our door code. So this is one of our custom fields that we have set up, and this is just a text box. So you can type in maybe whatever their door code is. Special requests and private notes, same thing as the people page, but this is for the reservation page. Special requests, we do have a letter code for it, so we could add that to a letter if you'd like. And then also that could be viewed on a housekeeping report. Whereas the private notes are just going to be in this section and only this section. Going on the left hand side here, so this is my arrival date, my departure date, number of nights, and I just have the 1 unit. If you are not set up with Shift4, you will have this view button to go and view that credit card. This is where you log into your Forward account and go and view that card. We'll go over that right now. You just click on the view button with the eyeball, view card at Shift4. The reason why it's a Forward account is because it gives you these 4 words. I can just copy those. This will be the link to that Forward account that we would set you up with. It takes you straight to that link, and then you can just log in with your username and password. Once you're logged in, you would just paste those 4 words that we got from the previous page and then detokenize this. It's not case sensitive, so just type that in, B, and then click this detokenize button. And then on the right hand side, it's going to display that credit card information. Again, if you are fully set up with Shift4, you will not have this because you don't need to view the guest credit card. You can simply go and charge. These are for people that are not using Shift4 as the gateway, and they need to go and jot this down and use their own terminal to go and charge the credit card. It will display this guest credit card anytime you go and look up their Forward. This CVC code will only be there for 24 hours. So if I go and look at this tomorrow, it'll show me everything on this list except for that line. You'll notice it closes there. If you just click on that, it'll pop back up. So that's the Forward, and again, that's only if you do not have Shift4 fully integrated. Otherwise, if you have Shift4, it'll look the exact same. You just don't have this view button. Next to that is our deposit requirements. So any deposit requirements that you have set up in your configuration and deposit policies, those will populate here. So you'll notice I have 2 policies here. So I have first policy and then a final policy, and this is kind of the payments of what they would have there. Below that, under units, so we have show on occupancy map. This will just jump you to the occupancy map to see that reservation from there. To get back to where we were at, you'll notice I have tabs here just like my browser, so I can click on the tab to jump back to that reservation, or there's a view button on the right hand side. Either way, it'll take me to this page. Add unit. This is to add a multiple unit for the guest reservation, essentially making like a group reservation. So upon arrival, I'm like, hey, I need another unit for this. You just click on add unit. It jumps me back to the occupancy map. And now I just click and drag to add another unit for the guest. Same thing, it gives you your quote section here. And when you're done, just click book now. And it's going to add that unit to my reservation. So now I have multiple units. And in the top here, you'll notice it says from 1 unit to 2 now. And it put in my second unit down in my unit section. Move. This will let you move the guest to either a different unit or a different time frame. So I click on my move button. And since we have the 2 units, you'll notice it brings up both units. So next to each unit is a pencil. If I click on the pencil, this is where I can select a different unit that's available. It's only going to show you in this drop down units that you have available. And then next to the dates, I click on the pencil and I can change my arrival or departure dates. Once I'm done with my changes, I would just click continue up here and it'll move that guest to either the different unit or the different time frame. You can also move a unit from the occupancy map. So we'll jump back to our occupancy map. When you hover over the reservation, when you have that icon, the up, down, left, right arrows, now I could just click and drag and move that to whatever unit I would like. So we'll move it there. Just cancel. That'll let you move the unit. When you hover over the unit and you have just the left and right arrows, this will let you shorten or extend the stay. So whatever page you feel comfortable, you can move that unit. Next to move is rebook. So this will let you rebook the guest for some time in the future. By default, it's going to pull next year's dates, but you can always change those dates. So I click rebook, and you'll notice these are next year's dates, but I can click on the calendar icon here and change that date to whatever they may be arriving and departing to, or you can do it from that pencil section. By default, it's going to keep them in the same unit as long as it's available. If that unit wasn't available, there'd be a red message popping up just saying, hey, unit's not available, and then you can select a different unit from the drop down. Once you're done, just click continue, and it'll book that guest for that time in the future. Under our unit section, if you click on the unit, so we have multiple units here, I'm just going to click on this one at the top. We have check-in, so this is where I can go and check the guest in, or if they were already checked in, this would be our checkout button. So I click on check-in. At the top section here, whatever's checked in orange there, that'll kind of be the steps that it goes after you check the guest in. So after I check them in right now, it would go to add a payment, it would go straight to that page, and then it would go to generate a letter of whatever my choice is. If you simply just want to check the guest in, you can uncheck those and just check them in. So that now check the guest in, and you'll notice that that button becomes a checkout button. Same thing, whatever's checked at the top, it'll go through those steps next after you check them out. And then I would just click checkout at the top here. Next to our check-in, checkout button is edit. So change guest. This guest isn't going to be able to make it, but one of their colleagues is coming instead. Just click on the change guests, and this is where you can select a different guest. This also comes in handy for group reservations. Maybe I assigned I blocked out all my units under, call it wedding group, and then as they arrive, I'm putting them in each of their rooms. So I would click on change guest and put whoever's in that room in that by clicking change guest. Change rate / guest count. This takes us back to that quote page that we were at the very beginning when we clicked and dragged for our unit. Pretty much it's the same thing. So at the top here, I can select multiple rates that we have for this unit. If we have any packages, I can select that there. Here's where I can change my guest count, adults, children, dog. I have my discount tab where I have my 2 types of discounts, either a percentage or a fixed amount. And then I have my exemptions where I can remove either a tax of my choice or just exempt all the tax. Again, if I do make any changes to this page, just save at the top. Under the edit section, we have remove at the bottom there. So this is if you just need to remove a unit. This isn't canceling a reservation, it's just removing a unit. So for this reservation in example, we added the 2 units and now we need to get rid of this king for whatever reason. They can't make it. So I click on edit and remove. Yes, I want to remove that. Now they just have the 1 unit on their reservation. So I go back to my occupancy map, I'll notice just the 1 unit. Unlock or lock. So let's say I'm working on this reservation and I haven't completely finished, but someone calls, someone walks in, whatever the case may be, and I don't want anyone messing with this reservation. I could just simply lock that and it'll block it out where other users can't move it, can't cancel it, because I need to continue adding my notes or whatever I need to do to this reservation. Just keep that unlocked. Custom color, we talked about that in the occupancy map settings. This is if I want to add a custom color because maybe they're part of a wedding party and I want to keep track of that on my occupancy map as like a color flag, so I can add that custom color. Down below is invoices. This add invoice, on the guest people page, we showed you that POS invoices. This is adding a separate point of sale invoice. So let's say my work is paying for my room, but any incidentals, any point of sale items, I need to pay on my own card. I can click on add invoice and add that separate point of sale invoice for the reservation. So it's not going to be part of my room charges, but it's a separate charge. View invoice. View invoice takes you to the invoice page where it has a list of all their line items going down here. You can also change the rate from this section and exempt the tax. So I click on the room. Here's the price at the top that I can update there. And here's the tax down below that I can exempt. If I make any changes, just make sure and save at the top. In the top section, add point of sale. So this is where you can go in and add a point of sale item. We'll just do this one right here. So it'll display that point of sale down below. It's always going to add it for the arrival date in this section here, but you can change that date to whatever you'd like. And then here's the price that we have set up for that point of sale item. Quantity, how many they want, what property this belongs to. And then there's kind of the list of the price and the tax breakout. Then just click save and it'll add that point of sale to the reservation here. Package, same thing. You select the package. It'll display that package down below, kind of all the items that are with the package. It's adding the arrival date there. And once you're good with that, just click save. And now it's adding a point of sale and a package item. Point of sale package. Add gift certificate. I can also add a gift certificate to the reservation. Maybe upon departure, they're like, hey, holidays are coming up, I want to get a gift certificate. Just click on add gift certificate and it'll go through those same steps when we were on the gift certificate tab. In the top section, this gray icon, that's going to be our audit history. So this is everything that's happened to the reservation by whatever users logged in and touched it. Here's our paper icon that lets us send an email or print out a letter. Just click on that. Then maybe this time I'm sending an invoice. Just select my invoice there. It displays that down below, and then just click email or print. Just email that out. Going down, so transactions. This is where you can post a payment or actually charge the guest. This page will look a little different if you have Shift 4 set up. There will be a pre-auth button in the middle here. But pretty much you would click on make payment if you're just posting or with actually charging Shift 4. Select your payment type at the top. If this was a Shift 4 database in the middle section here, there'd be where the guest credit card is at. So it'd have a list of all those credit cards, and then I could select which one I want to charge. The amount section, how much are you going to charge the guest? And then payment date. So if you're set up with Shift 4, you will not see this payment date for credit cards. You'll see it for other payment types. If you're not set up with Shift 4 and you're just posting payments, you can always backdate those. And then description, let's say they're paying by check and you want to add the check number, you can just type that in here. Once everything looks good, just click save or make payment at the top, which will save it. And it'll post that payment down below. In this section, if you click on the guest name in blue here, So view details, if this was Shift 4 setup and I charged the guest credit card, the view details will give me a lot of details as far as when the payment was made, what time, by what user. It gives you some lengthy notes that we get from Shift 4 in this section. Since I'm just posting a payment, it's pretty blank as far as it just says this is the amount that we're posting. Also next to view details is void. You can void, so when you're set up with Shift 4, you can void any same day payment, and as long as you haven't batched out, it won't reach the guest credit card or your bank. So any same day payments you can void. When you're not set up with Shift 4, you can void any payment really because it's just posting it and it'll remove that post. If you're set up with Shift 4, in the middle here, there'd be another button that says print receipt. That'll just print out 2 receipts, one for you, one for the guest, and it's kind of like a receipt you would get at a restaurant. The one for you, it has a signature line that the guest can sign there. If you need to void a payment, or if you need to void a payment, I just click on the void button, it'll remove that. If I need to refund the guest, let's say I'm set up with Shift 4, they paid me yesterday, I realize today that they're going to cancel or whatever the case may be, just click on make payment and make your amount negative. So whatever you're going to refund them, just type in that amount negative, and this little message will pop up just saying, hey, you're posting a refund. So as long as it's negative, it'll refund the guest. Click make payment and it'll refund them that amount. On the right hand side here, this suitcase, this view button will take me back to that reservation page. So here's the reservation page. This people, the view button will take me to the guest people page. And then here's the invoice notes in this section. Down below is going to show you the contact log just for invoice letters. So we did just send an invoice letter, so it'll be in this section. And I can preview that from here. Going back to the guest reservation page, so that was under view invoice, that's the page we were just at. Next to that is add charge. So everything we could do at the top of view invoice, the add point of sale, add package, add gift certificate, I can do from this section as well. And then in the middle section there where we made our payment and we processed a refund, I can also do that from here by clicking on make payment. So same thing, just in a different page. Under the group members, we have view person. This will jump me back to my person page where here's my reservation at the top. I added a new credit card, so that's going to be at the top there. And then in our contact log, you'll notice the 2 emails that I sent out are listed here, and I can go in and preview those if I need to, and either resend them an email or print them out a hard copy. Let's go back. So back on our occupancy map here. If I close this out, so just glancing at the guest reservation, I could see the guest name. There's the phone number we have, number of nights, and the A2 stands for 2 adults. And we have our little green check just indicating that the guest is checked in. If I click on the reservation from here, everything I just did on that reservation page and invoice page, I could do on the right hand side here. So on the right hand side, this view button takes me back to that reservation page. Here's my letter icon where I can send an email or print out a letter. Here's the gray icon where I can go to the audit history, see everything that happened to this reservation and by what user. And when we're completely done, there's where I can cancel our reservation. Here's the credit card. Again, I'm not set up with Shift 4, so I have that view button with the eyeball. That's where you can go in and use those 4 words and view the guest credit card. Here's my deposit policies that we have set up. So the first deposit, second deposit, whatever you guys have for your deposit policy, they'll display here. Notes and details, if I click on it, it'll open those up where I can view the source, reason, there's my door code, there's the special requests, and then the private notes. Close that. Units, I can add a unit, so that's where we added that king unit at one time because they were going to get that multiple units for this reservation. I can move the unit to either a different room, different time frame. Rebook, this lets me rebook the guest for some time in the future. Here's my checkout, or if the guest wasn't checked in, it would say check in button. Here's edit, where I can change the guest. I can change their rate or guest count, or like we did, we removed one of the units to their group reservation. Here's the lock or unlock. I'm not finished with this reservation. I can go in and lock that so no one can move it or cancel it. Here's my custom color. Maybe this is part of a wedding group and I want to keep track of that via color. I can set up a new custom color. Add invoice. This lets me add a separate invoice. My work's paying for my room, but I have to pay for my point of sale items. Click on add invoice and set up that separate invoice. There's the view invoice button that had the line items and where I made my payment, added my point of sale and packages. I could also add in my point of sale and package by clicking on add charge and selecting them here. And then make a payment. I can make a payment from this page. View person, that'll jump me back to the person page. So I could do everything from the occupancy map just on the right hand side that I just did from the reservation page and invoice page. If I go back to my dashboard, it'll have today's date, and here I have as a stayover because we checked the guest in. And on the right hand side, you'll notice it's at the top as one of my most recent reservations. On the left hand side, if I click on the guest name, just going across the top, so there's the guest name. We have the housekeeping clean or dirty turned on, so that's that little green check just indicating that his room's clean. Here's the room that the guest is in. Here's their arrival and departure dates, number of nights. It has a yellow marker there just indicating that this guest has partially paid us, and a green check just indicating that the guest is checked in. Here's the guest's total charges, what they've paid us, what's due. From the left hand side, the suitcase, again, that'll jump me to the guest reservation page. The people icon, that'll jump me to the guest person page. And the grid icon jumps you to the guest invoice page. Going across the bottom, here's my check-in or check-out button. There's my letter button to send an email or print out a letter. Here's add charge, where I can add a point of sale package or gift certificate. And then I could also make a payment from here. So I can also do most of my work from the dashboard page here. We're going to jump to configuration, and towards the bottom here we have people tags and reservation tags. This is if you need to keep track of the guests for whatever reason. Maybe you have a special coming up and you want to know who's part of that special. Or in our case, we're just going to keep track of like VIP guests. So people tag, it'll always follow the guests, so they're always VIP. I can put that under people tag. Whereas reservation tag, maybe just for this one reservation, they're VIP, so I can keep track of it there. So I click on either reservation or people tag, and then I'm just going to add a new tag in the top right, and then we'll just name that VIP. You can give it a color in our color wheel here, and then I'm going to flag that as important, and then save. So that's a reservation tag, and then we'll also go to our people tag, and we'll do the same thing. So we have this one called important. We'll just go there, and we can keep that color. It's already flagged as important, so we'll just save that. If I go back to my reservation, I'm just going to go to my tab here at the top. So we're on the reservation page, so this is where I would add the tag for the reservation in the top left here, and we'll select VIP. And then if I want to add a people tag, if I go to the person page, so view person, in the top left we have our person tag. We'll select that important. Since I flagged those as important, what it does is if I go back to my occupancy map, you'll notice it puts a little flag there in the bottom right. That just means that something is marked as important for this reservation. If I click on the reservation tag will be in the top left here, and the people tag will be towards the bottom here. If I go back to the dashboard, you'll notice there's a tag, so something is marked as important. If I click on the name, it'll add those tags there. And you can add as many tags as you'd like for the guest. Moving along on our left-hand side to our people tab. So this is just where you can search the guest. So if I just clear that out there, it'll show you a list of all my guests. So in this database, I have 322 guests, and this is, you can narrow down your search by just typing in last name, first name, whatever you'd like. It'll narrow down that search. If you click on advanced search, you have some options here. So in the top, I have either I could search by person or reservation. Let's say I wanted to do person, and then in this middle section here, you have some options in the drop down. So let's say I want email is anything. So this is when I click search, this will give me a list of everyone in my system that has an email address, and then I can export that. Also within the reservations, maybe you want to do a date range list. So I want to do arrival date is between, and then I can say like today and whenever. So we'll just say October 1st, and then we'll search. And then these are all the reservations that I have within that arrival time. And then I can click export again to export that list. Going down to our reservations. So this will show you a list of reservations. Right now I'm showing between today and the end of time, and then it has all the reservations that you have. In the top left here, you can always change that. So this is showing current, future. I could show just reservations for today, reservations for this week, reservations for next week, or I can just set up a custom date range and just change that date range here and here. On the left hand side, and if you click on these, it'll just open up the guest reservation page. So that's their reservation. Just another way to search if you're not finding them in the people. Maybe you'll see them in the reservation because we were searching in the wrong guest name, possibly. Invoice. This is going to show you a list of all your invoices that you have set up. And this will just, when you click on them, it'll open the guest invoice page there. Again, in our left-hand side, we have where we can narrow down that search. So all active invoices with balances due. These are all the ones that still have a balance due. Point of sale invoices with balances due. So these are just those separate point of sale invoices. Active reservation invoices with balance due. There's my reservation there. And then past reservation invoices with balance due. All of these, they still owe us money. So you can narrow down the search as well here. Also from this page, I can just add a separate invoice. So I want to add an invoice. Let's say I sell a gift shop on the side, so they're not staying with us. They're just going to buy something on the side. I click on this, and this is just adding that separate invoice for the guest. Gift certificates we already went over. Configuration tab. On the configuration tab, business details. Whatever email you have set up in this section is going to be where all the emails look like they're coming from. So it doesn't matter what user is logged in with their email address. So I'm logged in with my personal email address and I send an email at the property. It's going to look like it's coming from whatever email we have set up here. And then just make sure that everything is correct as far as your address, phone number, all that stuff. Let's go back. Users. This is where you can set up users. So this is a list of all my users that I currently have for this database. If I wanted to add a new user, I would click on Add User at the top here. Set up their name and email address. Again, this email address is just going to be used to log in. And then down below, set up their permissions. If you click on the section, it'll give you what you would like them to do. Whatever's checked, they can do. Whatever's not checked, they can't do. And then once you're done setting that up, you would just click Save User here. It's going to send them that email where they would go and set up their security questions and answers as well as that password. And then when they go to cloud.rezstream.com, they'll use that the next time to log in. Payment settings. So when we click on payment settings at the top, we have options as far as our payment types. This is where you can go and set up those payment types. So if I go back to a reservation, I click on make payment. In the type section, this is where it has a list of those, and I would set those up under configuration and payment settings. Just click on the little blue plus button and you can go and add a new payment type. Credit card processing. So this is what credit cards you allow to accept. This is primarily for the booking engine. So if I start typing in a card, and an example, this one, we don't accept American Express, it looks like. So if they start typing that in, it wouldn't approve that or let them continue their booking. If you are set up with Shift4, this is where we would input that Shift4 token in this section right here. And then gift certificates. So you notice that in our gift certificate settings here, our gift certificates expired, and I would set that up just right here. Guest types. So this is where it has a list of our guest types. So right now we have adults, children, and pets, and then we have dogs, and then we have like a larger dog. So you can add new guest types here. Deposit policy. So you notice on our guest reservation we had those two policies set up. This is where I would set that up. So our first policy, for example, it's same day as reservation, and it's first night including taxes, fees, packages, point of sale. And then if they do just have the one night, it's going to calculate that as 100% as well. And you could set up as many policies as you like. If you are fully set up with Shift 4, you could have it where it'll automatically charge that deposit policy upon their booking. If not, it'll look like the guests are being charged, but in reality, it's not charged until you process that on your end. Cancellation policy. The guest cannot cancel from your booking engine, so they would have to call you to cancel a reservation. But when they call you, if you do have, for example, in this one, we have 14 days, we charge $30. Or within 0 days, we do the percentage of reservation total at 15%. So if you do have a cancellation fee, you can set that up here. And when you go and cancel the guest, it'll pull in whatever that fee may be. You can always override that fee to whatever you'd like, and it'll change that cancellation fee. But they must call you to cancel, so there is no canceling from your booking engine. Confirmation numbers, prefixes. This is if you wanted to change. So the property management system will come in as the PMS prefix, whatever I had set up there. So maybe I have it like res dash, and then it'll just continue with numbers. Booking engine will be BE. Mobile booking engine, MBE. Booking.com, you'll notice is that BCom, and then my allocator. So that's our channel manager. So you're set up with like Expedia, Airbnb. That'll come in at MA. You could change these, like I just added that there, and then just click save. Properties, unit groups. So this will be a list of your properties. Most of our properties just have the one, and it'll just be listed here. This is kind of like the business details where it'll pull in your email, phone number, address, web address. But if you do have multiple properties like this does, you can set those up here. For report purposes, it'll break out each property and show what units are part of that property or point of sale. Units, this is just a list of all your units that you have. If you click on the unit, so in the top, this is the short name that I have for the unit, essentially the long name that I have for the unit. If it's ADA accessible, you can check this for the booking engine and it'll come up ADA. If I allow on the booking engine, I would check this as yes, I allow, or no, I don't want it to be bookable. This is where I set up the property for the unit. Again, on our reports, it'll break out each property. So what property would you like this unit to pull? The rate plan. What rate plan belong to this unit? I would select that in the drop down here. Revenue account. What revenue account for report purposes do I want to pull for this unit? And then any amenities that I have, I would go and set up in the amenities section, and that'll display on your booking engine. So maybe this room has like a fireplace, and that's one of my amenities. I could set that up here. Maximum capacity. What is the maximum capacity for that unit? Set that up here. You can add those at the bottom when you're done. So I'm going to add 4 adults, 4 children. It would never allow for the guest to enter 4 and 4 for this reservation because it's always going to pull the max capacity. And then if this reservation does allow pets, you would put that number in here. If not, you can just add a 0. Description. What is the description? This is if it's bookable online and you're displaying your booking engine by individual units. This would be the description that the guest would see and be able to read. Images. If you're displaying by individual units on the booking engine, this would be the image on the right hand side for that unit. If you need to add other units, just click them on the left here and it'll add that unit. If I need to just add units just completely or add images completely, just click on add images, and then now I can click and drag those images or click on the drop file and select the image that's saved on my computer. That's a list of your units from the unit page. If you click on add new unit, that'll let you select a new unit. If you are at your maximum capacity, it'll just say get new units, and that'll take you to a page where you can get new units. Change order button. So on our occupancy map, it had the units listed in this order. I can click on change order, pretty much just click and drag and move them to whatever order you would like. And then this is any deleted units that you may have. You can view them here. Going back, so unit tags, amenities. So this is where I can add new tag and just name it whatever you want. I could select a color for it. Let's do that. And save that unit tag. If I go back to my units, or just select this top one here, there's where my amenity tag would be. So new tag, this is where like fireplace or mountain view, whatever your amenities may be, select that there and then just save. Going back, so revenue accounts, again for report purposes, we can report on the type of revenue accounts. Click on revenue accounts. It'll have a list of your accounts here. To add a new account, you just click on add new revenue account in the top right and select that name. Or if you want to edit one of these, maybe I go by cabins, not unit, I click on unit revenue and I can change that here. Taxes. So the first taxes tab, this will be a list of all your taxes that you have. So you notice that I have POS, room, state, test. If I click on one of these, so room tax, it'll show you what the value is. So start on this date, the value is 6%. Let's say this tax is going to increase next year. I would just click on the plus button and then change my date. So it's going to be 1/1 of 2023 and it goes to 7%. And I would just add that there and then just save. So the first tab is really a list of all your taxes that you have. You would set those up individually here. And then to group those together, you go to tax groupings. And then this is where I have, for example, my room tax. So my room tax, if I click in there, it's pulling both room tax and state tax. So this is where you would group those together. Or maybe it is just room tax and it's just the one. You do need to add the tax groupings before you add that to a unit. Fees. This is if you assign a fee. It kind of works as a tax, but it cannot be removed. So if I add this fee to the rate plans, so let's say I have my credit card fee, I wouldn't be able to remove that fee. It's always going to pull with the rates. So I have a credit card fee set up at 3%, and if I have that pulling with my rates, it's always going to pull the 3% credit card fee, or whatever fees you have. Again, the fees tab is just the individual fee itself, and then you need to go to fee groupings to set up that group name. And this is where I would select the fee within my rates. Point of sale items. So this is where it has a list of all your point of sale items. As you can see here, I have 10. If you are adding a new point of sale item, make sure and add the category first. So I would first add the category, and then when I go to item, I would click on add new item. And it's going to ask for a category. That's why I say add the category first. And then you could just select the item, give it a price, whatever the price is, category. Is this going to be sold on the booking engine? If so, just check that. And then that key item. So we talked about that on our dashboard so we can track the key items. I need to keep track of this new item. I would just check it as key item. The tax and fee is going to pull from whatever's set up in the category. So we can go back and look at my category for breakfast basket and see what it's pulling for tax and fees. Otherwise, you can override that to whatever you'd like. If I am selling this on the booking engine, I can add a description for this. And then once this is saved, there'll be an image tab here where I can add an image for it. So if I save that, you'll notice now, if I go back in there, there's an image tab to add an image for it. Looking at the category, if I go to our breakfast basket, this is what's going to be pulled for the tax and then if there was a fee there, that would be pulled. So if I don't want to use the POS tax and my new item has a different tax, that's when I would utilize the override tax option. That's adding a new point of sale. If you need to come in here and change the point of sale, so maybe this price went up or down, I could just click on the item and then I could change the price here. Going back, so underneath point of sale, we have resources, and with the resources, this is where I can add where I'm keeping track of, call it inventory. Let's say at my property, I have just a handful of rollaway beds, so I'm going to keep track of that as a resource. This is where I can set up that resource, and these can only be added to reservations. And I add my rollaway beds, and I keep track that I have 3 of them. So by day, it's just going to keep track of those rollaway beds. So we'll just say bed, and I give them away, so there's 0. But my inventory, I only have 3. I want to track as key item. I set up my property. I set up the revenue account. We'll just put it under general. If it's tax, you could set that up, as well as if there's a fee, you could set that up. Description, if you want to add a description for it. And then any seasonal adjustments. So maybe that price varies upon season. I can add that seasonal price here. My rollaway beds are just free, so I would just save that. What it's going to do is on your occupancy map, you'll notice towards the bottom, it adds a bed with my 3 count. So on my reservation here, I want to add unit, add resource, and I click on bed, and I want it for every day. I would just save that, and you'll notice now I'm using 1, so that resource goes down to 2. So it's going to change my inventory amount to the correct amount that's now available. So now only 2 is available because this reservation is using the 1. Going on view invoice, you'll notice now it has my room charge, there's my package item, and here's my resource. So if that was a price, it would just add that price there. Resources right now can only be sold with a unit, so they couldn't just purchase a bed. They would have to have a unit as well. Underneath resources is packages. So packages is multiple point of sale items in one. So you would first go set up all those point of sale items that are going to be in the package, and then you can go in and set up the package. Click on add new package. Name it at the top there. If you're going to allow this on the booking engine, check that, or if not, just uncheck that. And then clicking on add items takes you to a list of all your point of sale items. So our new package has this item. You select the price there. So what is the price going to be for this package? You can apply it either one time or you can do a daily charge. If I select daily, are you going to include and check in or just check out? And then you can also apply this per guest. So sometimes we have a pet fee that we're just going to apply to our pets there. So that would be the per guest. We'll just keep that at one time, save that. And then maybe it has another item too. It also has this, one time, save, and then it also has my new item. And that one's daily, include in checkout, and save. So this would be setting up that package, and it's going to pull all these individual items, and then you would just save that. Again, if you need to edit a package that you already have, you can just go into the package. It'll have a list of those items here, and you can click on that and either update the price, or maybe now we're going to do daily, or we're going to charge per guest. Whatever the change is, just make it here. Rate plans unit types. This will be a list of all of your unit types. If you click on the unit type, in the top section, it'll have that unit type name with the revenue account that it's pulling, with the tax group that it's pulling, and then any fee that's set up. So this one's set up to pull that parking fee. In the middle section, it has a list of our rates. So these are all our rates. Whatever's highlighted will display the season down below. So right now I'm looking at the rack rate. If I wanted to jump to, call it test, it'll display that test down below. So whatever's highlighted, it'll have the seasons below. The seasons, this will be a list of all your seasons. pretty much starting from the bottom here. So today's rate is $300. It's $10 for additional guest, and then $350 on weekends. And then it's that rate all the way until 4/29, when it may change because of the minimum stays or whatever the change may be. If you need to make any changes to this season, just click on the edit button to the right of that season, and you can go in and change the rates. To add a new season, just click on this add a season button, and you can go in and set up that new start date or end date, and then add the season there. Back on the first page, the season wizard setting. This is to set up, let's say I know what my seasons are going to be for, call it 2013 or whatever the next year is. Set up the add seasons, and then I can just click and set up whatever my seasons are going to be for that time frame. Change order. So this is the list of the unit types and the order here. So if I was displaying my booking engine by unit type, and it goes in order, this is how it's going to display. Click on change order, pretty much just click and drag, and you can move that order to whatever you'd like. And to add a new rate plan unit type, just click on add new rate plan, and you can add that here. Rate discounts. If I click on add new discount, I'll just name it new. Apply a name at the top. By default, it's going to limit it to every single day, but I can uncheck days that is only available. Reservations made by, so if I have a cutoff date of when I want this discount to end, I can add my reservations made by there. If I'm going to allow in the booking engine, you could check this. Once you do that, is it going to be set up with a promo code? You can add that promo code here. Down below is the trigger type. So no trigger, I'm just going to give 10% off. Just type in 10 there, and then you can either do percent or by dollars. We also have stay based, and then qualifying day. So stay 2 nights, get third night at 10% off or $10 off. You could do guaranteed. So stay 1 night, get guaranteed 10% off. You could do time-based. So this is like last-minute bookings. Book now, 10% bookings made within 14 days of arrival. Or I could do advanced bookings. So 10% of bookings that arrive at least however many days you want after the date is made. By default, it's going to allow every room to be part of this rate discount, but you could select which rooms you don't want to be part of the rate discount. This is by unit type, so which rate plans I don't want as part of it, or by individual units, which units I don't want part of it. Acceptable nights, so whatever this discount is going to be available, so maybe it's just available for that time frame. That's the only time they can get this discount. And then description. So if I was selling this on the booking engine, I can add a description for this, and it'll kind of just read that whatever you have set up for the discount. Once you're done, just click save, and it'll add that discount. You can add as many discounts as you'd like. Just keep clicking on add new discount button. It's going to take your rack rates, so whatever rate I have set up in this top section, and it's going to discount off of this section. So it's always going to pull whatever's the top of this order. Yield management. This tool is used to adjust your rates on the fly. And again, it's going to take that top rate. So in this case, the rack rate. I would click on add new rule in the top here. Let's say when date is between 7 and 14 nights out, and my occupancy is pretty high, so I'm like 89 to 99% full. You can adjust it by either a fixed amount, so a dollar amount, or by a percentage, whatever you have checked here. And then just add that in here, so 20%. So it'll look at your occupancy map, and if your occupancy percentage is between 89 and 99 for this example, and the date is within 7 to 14 nights out, it'll automatically raise my rates 20%. You don't have to go into that rate setup and mess with the seasons. It'll just do that on the fly. You could do the same thing in reverse. Let's say I'm slower, so I'm like, I don't know, 50 to 60% full. And then I just add a negative here. it'll lower my rates by that percentage. So in this case, it's going to lower it by 20%. Just click Save Rule, and you can add as many rules as you'd like. People tags, reservation tags, we went over those as far as keeping track of the guest. Custom fields and dates. So on both our people page and our reservation page, we had those custom fields. This is where I would set that up. These can also be displayed on your booking engine. So I have that time of arrival set up. So I want to know on my booking engine what time the guests plan on coming to check in. So I have that set up here as a custom field. And from the booking engine page, they would just type in that text box. But as you noticed, our door code, and that's pulled to the reservation page, that's just going to be on that right hand side here. So any custom field that you have for the reservation page will be set up right here. And then if I have that set up for the people page, if I go to view person, it'll be down here where it says time of arrival, second email. So it's going to be on this left hand side. So those are the custom fields, and it'll just be a text box that the guest can fill out. Dates. Dates is just if I keep track of, call it birthdays, anniversary, maybe the first time that they stayed with us, we keep track of that stuff. You could set up a custom date. Source of contact and reason for their stay. So source of contact, how they hear about you, how they find out about you. You can add new sources here. Just click on add new source and set up the label for it. And then if you do want this selectable on the booking engine, you could just check that here and it'll add that to the booking engine. It'll just be a drop down box so they can just click from that list that you have set up in this section. And then reason, why are they staying with you? Again, you can add new reasons up here. And then if you want that selectable on the booking engine, just make sure this box is checked. Letters and templates. So the first page will just be a list of all your letters. And then if you have multiple pages, they'll just be listed down here at the bottom. Just select the letter and you can go in and make your changes at the bottom here. For this letter, if you click on the settings button, this is where you can update that subject. So you can change the subject here. Email template, I can add a template. Or print template, I can add a template. That's the settings button. Down below in the letter section, so the text is going to be in this field. Anything in gray, these are letter codes. If you hover over the letter code, it'll kind of tell you what that code is going to do. So this is long date form, whereas this is first and last name. This will be their address. So these are all selected from this right-hand side here. Pretty much is kind of like a Word doc. You can just add in your letters. If you want to add in your letter first and then go in and just highlight, then you can add your letter code, whatever was highlighted there. Any questions, issues with the letters, we can always help out and support. A template is just going to be like a header and footer for your letter. So if we just select a template here, it would pull kind of that at the top section. Your letter that we were just looking at would be in that letter content, the bulk of the letters there, and then we just have a footer at the bottom. Scheduled emails. So you could set up as many scheduled emails as you'd like. It's just to make your life easier, and it'll automatically send the guest an email. So I click on add schedule at the top here. You select a letter. Let's do like a thank you. Well, we'll just do a test. So our test is our thank you letter. And then number of days. So we want to send that 4 days. You have a choice of either before or after. And then you have a choice of arrival or departure date. So 4 days after their departure date at 9 a.m., it's going to automatically send the guest that thank you letter. Maybe I have 4 days prior to arrival. It sends them kind of like maps and just what to bring and stuff like that letter. So just to make your life easier, it'll automatically send the guest this letter. You could view that in the guest contact log. And then from there, you can either resend it or print them out a hard copy. And just click Save Schedule to save that letter. Email delivery options. Click on that. So right now it's going to send a copy. Right now it's only going to send copies from the booking engine. So when they book online, it'll send your property a copy. If you want to change that to all emails, so every email that I send, I want it to send me a copy. You could select that there. And then right now it's going to set up your business email is going to be in there by default, but you could select whatever email you'd like to be CC'd. And then just save that at the top. We're going to go back to our reservations. So on the occupancy map, and we're going to select our reservation here. And we're going to go ahead and cancel that. So I'm going to click on our gray icon there and choose cancel reservation. In that blue section is our cancellation fee. So this is what we have set up in our configuration cancellation fee. As I said, I can override that to whatever I want. So we're not going to charge the guest this time. We're going to save that. So that zeroes out their cancellation fee. And then we're going to click cancel reservation in the top here. This step is saying, hey, once you do this, it can't be undone. So this guest calls us back 5 minutes later or the next day. They're like, hey, actually, I am going to stay. You would just have to go through those steps and create the reservation again. Once it's canceled, it's canceled. So we'll say, yeah, we agree to that. This is kind of the last page. And for this guest, we did take a payment. So now it's saying, hey, we owe the guest this amount of money. So from this page, we can add a refund. And it'll automatically put that amount as negative. And you'll notice this message here. So it applied that negative amount, and then we can just click make payment. If we were refunding them a different payment type, again, you could select from your payment types how you're going to refund the guest. We'll just keep it at that payment type, click make payment. Now that's zeroed out, so it balanced our reservation here. From the top, I can send them an email. Maybe I send them a cancellation email or print them out that letter. And then once you're done, just click done. And done. That was our wait list that just popped up there, just indicating like, hey, someone's on the wait list for today. So that's kind of the page that would look like. It's going to still keep all the guest information, so I don't lose any of the guest information here. It'll just simply cancel their reservation and add another canceled here. On our dashboard, you'll notice nothing is on the day, so I don't have any more stayovers here, but it did keep that reservation here as a canceled. That is the end of the cloud training.